What if I told you one diver's act of courage could save an entire species? In the heart of a lush river, a fishing cat found itself trapped in a deadly net, struggling for life. Would anyone dare to dive in to save it? Kai did. With the cat's life hanging by a thread, the odds were stacked against them. While others hesitated, Kai's quick thinking and compassion made all the difference. That one act of courage didn't just save the cat, it sparked a movement to protect its kind. Because sometimes, it only takes one brave heart to change the world. Hi everyone, welcome to our channel. Today, I'm excited to share a new story with you. Please subscribe us. The river glistened under the soft glow of the morning sun, its calm waters reflecting the lush greenery that lined its banks. This was a place of harmony, where wildlife thrived undisturbed, a haven for the elusive fishing cats, masters of their aquatic domain. With their sleek, spotted coats and webbed paws, these feline predators were perfectly adapted to the rhythm of the river, moving silently through the reeds as they hunted for fish. But that morning, something was amiss. Among the gentle ripples of the river, a faint, desperate thrashing broke the tranquility. A fishing cat, its coat darkened by water and mud, was ensnared in a nylon fishing net. The net, likely abandoned by careless fishermen, had wrapped tightly around the cat's body, immobilizing its limbs and trapping it in a deadly embrace. The feline's golden eyes glimmered with fear and exhaustion as it struggled to free itself, its strength waning with each passing moment. This serene ecosystem, once a sanctuary, had become a perilous trap. Unbeknownst to the cat, help was on the way. A diver named Kai, a conservationist with a deep love for wildlife, had spotted the trapped creature and was about to embark on a daring rescue mission. The river was alive with its usual symphony of chirping birds and rustling leaves as Kai adjusted his diving mask and prepared to explore the depths. A dedicated conservationist and experienced diver, he had spent years surveying these waters, studying its delicate ecosystem and the elusive fishing cats that called it home. Today, however, something felt different. A strange stillness hung in the air, as if the river itself was holding its breath. As Kai swam along the bank, his trained eyes caught an unusual disturbance among the reeds. The water's surface rippled unevenly, accompanied by faint splashes and movements that didn't match the rhythm of a hunting animal. He edged closer, his pulse quickening. Through the murky water, he glimpsed a shape struggling violently. It was a fishing cat, tangled in a mass of nylon fishing net. Its sleek, spotted coat was soaked and matted, its movements increasingly frantic yet futile. Kai could see the way the net dug cruelly into the animal's body, cutting into its fur and skin. The cat's eyes, wide with panic, met his for a fleeting moment, a silent plea for help in its golden gaze. Kai froze, assessing the situation. The current was strong, and the cat's thrashing only tightened the net around its limbs. He knew he had to act quickly, but the risks were clear. A frightened animal could easily turn aggressive, even towards someone trying to save it. Kai's heart pounded as he surfaced to call for his rescue equipment. The clock was ticking, and every second counted. He took a deep breath, steadied his nerves, and prepared to dive back in. This wasn't just about saving a single animal, it was about preserving the fragile balance of this ecosystem. Kai had no intention of letting the river claim one of its most iconic inhabitants. Kai's heart pounded as he readied himself to approach the trapped fishing cat. The net's taut strands glimmered faintly under the water, a sinister web tightening with every desperate movement the cat made. He knew he had to act quickly, but caution was paramount. A panicked animal could lash out, and fishing cats were known for their sharp claws and strong jaws. This one wouldn't hesitate to defend itself, even in its weakened state. As he slipped beneath the water's surface, the world above faded away, replaced by the muffled gurgle of the river. Visibility was poor, the murky current swirling with sediment disturbed by the cat's struggles. Kai adjusted his grip on the small dive knife strapped to his wrist, the tool that would determine the animal's fate. He swam closer, keeping his movements slow and deliberate. The fishing cat's eyes darted wildly, its chest heaving as it strained against the net. Kai paused a few feet away, letting the cat see him, hoping his presence wouldn't provoke further panic. He extended his hand slowly, testing its reaction. The cat hissed weakly, baring its teeth, but its movements were growing sluggish, exhaustion was setting in. With painstaking care, Kai reached out and began to inspect the net. It was a tangle of fine, almost invisible threads that had ensnared the cat's legs and torso, cutting into its flesh and restricting its movement. The nylon fibers were knotted tightly, and every twist of the current made them dig deeper. Kai began cutting, his knife slicing cleanly through the strands. He worked methodically, starting with the sections wrapped around the cat's limbs. Each cut had to be precise. One wrong move could startle the animal or worsen its injuries. All the while, the fishing cat watched him intently, its body trembling but still. The river's current was relentless, tugging at Kai's body and making the task even more challenging. He fought to maintain his position, using one hand to steady himself against the reeds. Minutes felt like hours as he carefully freed the cat piece by piece. Finally, the last strand gave way. The fishing cat let out a soft, guttural sound as it floated free, its body limp but no longer restrained. Kai reached out gently, cradling the animal against his chest. Its heartbeat was faint but steady, a sign of hope. Now, the real challenge would begin, getting the cat to safety. Kai surfaced from the water, the rescued fishing cat cradled gently in his arms. Its limp body felt fragile, its soaked fur revealing lean muscles and prominent ribs. The animal's breathing was shallow, its eyes half closed, but it was alive. That was enough for Kai to act. He climbed into his boat, wrapped the cat in a soft towel to keep it warm, and sped toward the nearest wildlife rehabilitation center. The center's team had been alerted and was ready when Kai arrived. He rushed through the doors, the fishing cat still motionless in his arms. The staff immediately sprang into action, carefully transferring the injured animal onto a padded examination table. As the veterinary team assessed the fishing cat, the room was heavy with tension. One of the veterinarians, Dr. Elena Morales, spoke softly but urgently as she examined its paw. "It's bad," she murmured, her gloved fingers running over the torn, swollen limb. The nylon net had cut deep, leaving raw, bloody wounds. Infection was already setting in, and the loss of circulation had caused severe tissue damage. Kai stood nearby, his fists clenched as he watched. The cat's golden eyes flickered open briefly, locking onto his. For a moment, he felt a pang of guilt. Should he have acted faster? Could he have done more? "We'll do everything we can," Elena said firmly, snapping Kai out of his thoughts. She and her team moved swiftly, cleaning the wounds, administering antibiotics, and starting in 4 to rehydrate the animal. As the minutes passed, the room filled with a mixture of quiet determination and deep concern. The staff worked tirelessly, their hands steady but their expressions betraying their worry. One assistant wiped away tears as she gently stroked the fishing cat's head, whispering words of comfort. Kai couldn't help but feel the weight of the moment. This wasn't just a fight for one life, it was a fight for a species on the brink. Fishing cats were rare, their habitats increasingly threatened by human activity. Losing even one was a devastating blow. After hours of effort, the team stabilized the cat. It lay resting in a small enclosure, its injured paw carefully bandaged. Kai exhaled for the first time in what felt like forever. The battle wasn't over, but for now, the fishing cat had a chance, and that was all they needed. The fishing cat's recovery was a delicate and demanding process, requiring patience, care, and an unyielding commitment from the rehabilitation team. Initially, the cat was wary, its golden eyes darting with suspicion each time someone approached its enclosure. It retreated to the farthest corner, crouching low and emitting soft warning growls. The team knew that trust would have to be earned, one cautious step at a time. In the first few days, the priority was ensuring the cat's basic survival. Its paw, still bandaged from the initial treatment, was monitored closely for signs of infection. Antibiotics and pain relief were administered through carefully prepared meals, fresh fish laced with medication, placed at a distance where the cat could feel safe enough to eat. Slowly, hunger overcame fear, and the cat began to nibble at the food, marking a small but significant victory. As the days turned into weeks, the fishing cat's progress became more noticeable. It started moving around its enclosure with more confidence, though its injured paw made every step a tentative one. The team introduced low platforms and ramps, encouraging gentle exercise to strengthen the muscles weakened by its ordeal. One of the most heartwarming moments came when the fishing cat took its first unassisted steps into a shallow pool installed in its enclosure. Water had always been its natural element, and the team watched with a mix of relief and joy as the cat waded in, its webbed paws moving cautiously at first, then with increasing assurance. Eating on its own became another milestone. What began as tentative nibbles turned into hearty meals, a clear sign of the cat's improving health. Its coat, once matted and dull, grew sleek and glossy again, evidence of proper nutrition and healing. Building trust with humans remained a challenge. The fishing cat was a wild animal at heart, and while it tolerated the presence of its caregivers, it remained distant and watchful. The team respected this boundary, understanding that true recovery meant preparing the cat to return to the wild, not to a life of dependency. By the end of its rehabilitation, the fishing cat had regained its strength and spirit. Each small step, from eating independently to diving into the pool, had been a testament to resilience, both the cat's and the team's. Now, it was time to prepare for the final and most critical stage, reintroducing the fishing cat to its natural habitat. Kai stood at the edge of the riverbank, the early morning light painting the water with shades of gold and silver. Beside him, the fishing cat sat in a specially designed carrier, its golden eyes scanning the surroundings with a mix of curiosity and caution. The weeks of rehabilitation had transformed the once fragile creature into a picture of resilience. Its sleek coat glistened, its movements fluid and confident, and its injured paw had healed remarkably well. The moment had finally arrived. Kai knelt beside the carrier, taking a deep breath to steady his emotions. He had spent countless hours alongside this animal, watching its journey from the brink of death to recovery. Releasing it back into the wild was always the goal, but saying goodbye was harder than he had anticipated. He unlatched the carrier door and stepped back, giving the fishing cat the space it needed. For a brief moment, the cat hesitated, its sharp gaze locking onto Kai one last time. It was as if the creature understood the magnitude of this moment. Then, with a powerful leap, it sprang forward, its paws landing softly on the cool, damp earth. The fishing cat moved with purpose, weaving through the reeds toward the water's edge. Kai watched as it crouched low, sniffing the air, and then stepped into the shallows. Within moments, it disappeared into the dense foliage, its spotted coat blending seamlessly with the environment. Kai exhaled deeply, a mix of pride and melancholy washing over him. This release was more than just a farewell, it was a symbol of hope. For every animal saved, every life restored, there was a reminder of the delicate balance between humans and nature. As he stood there, the river flowing steadily, Kai felt a renewed sense of purpose. Conservation was not just about saving one animal, it was about protecting a future where wildlife and humanity could coexist. The successful rescue and release of the fishing cat became a turning point for both the conservation community and the local ecosystem. The emotional journey of the cat's rehabilitation, combined with the diver's dedication, captured the attention of people far beyond the local area. The story spread across social media, news outlets, and wildlife documentaries, inspiring many to learn more about the challenges faced by fishing cats and similar species. The rescue effort led to an outpouring of support, both in the form of donations and volunteer efforts. Conservation organizations saw a surge in funding, which allowed them to expand their work to protect not only fishing cats but also their fragile habitats, wetlands, rivers, and forests that were increasingly threatened by human activity. The diver's role in this story became a symbol of the deep connection that can exist between humans and the natural world. It was a reminder that every action, no matter how small, can have a lasting impact. His calm, respectful approach to the fishing cat's rescue demonstrated that it was possible to intervene in a way that respected the animal's autonomy and ultimately returned it to its rightful home. This event reinforced the broader message of coexistence with nature, emphasizing that by working together, humans and wildlife can thrive. If this story touched your heart, hit the like button and subscribe to our channel.